morning, everyone. How y'all doing today? All right, good to hear it. Good to see all of you out there. My name is Reverend Michael McMorrow. I'm the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living. You're in Granada Hills, in case you're wondering, the far hinterlands of the valley here. So welcome. We have some friends here from Woodland Hills this morning. So welcome. And we have a little tradition that we do here called hugs and handshakes. So let's just take a moment to meet and greet each other and say good morning.
Is the time that we take our seats. So please help me welcome to the platform Reverend Nancy Woods, our assistant minister here. And she gets settled there. We're all going to take a deep, conscious breath, using the breath to anchor us in this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call Lighting the Flames of Faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is a unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it's for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. The fifth candle we light for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. The sixth candle we light for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center. And as Reverend Nancy lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and I see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love.
And as we welcome the idea that there is only love, love that really does heal and bless. But it's from that recognition of the one mind, one power, one perfect presence of life comes the idea that it loves each and every one of us as itself. And as I recognize that this divine presence really is each and every individual in this experience this morning, I welcome the idea and consciousness that we have chosen to step into this belief and understanding together. And as I recognize the individualization of God in each, I accept that that is what is guiding and directing this service this morning. Knowing that we have come here to open our hearts and our minds to enrich ourselves with a greater understanding of who and what we are, to step into a greater expression of life itself, to realize that that infinite intelligence is forever giving of itself through us and as us. And as we welcome its expression, we welcome the truth that it is all that there is, that it is the only thing that is in existence. Oh, and the wonder of knowing that that is true for each one of us is for us to embrace ourselves as the wonder of life in manifestation. So it's with great joy that we welcome this experience and this opportunity to embrace and experience the law of the universe, as it says yes to the words, yes to the thoughts, yes to that which we place into it, as it gives forth through the songs, the words, and the message, and the energy that we have brought into this room. So we join each other in appreciation and acceptance of these truths as we say together, and so it is. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I wanted to share, and you know, I was thinking, I said, that's a little bit short of a share, but I wanted to share this because sometimes things just come and all of a sudden the light, you know, we're forever saying that there is just one God, one mind, but we see these multiple expressions of it. So I don't know what it was, one of the meditations I was doing, all of a sudden it hit me. Oh, I am one whole person. And in this one whole person, there are a whole lot of living cells, millions of them, that have come together to express as my physical body. And then each one of those cells have all these components in it that have come together to express itself as a cell. And as we go in, the more we go in, the more we see that there is that truth. As we come out, we also see that that is true, because all of us are the individualized expressions of that one divine presence of life. So it's like I'm beginning to see it, and it was like I was looking at everything and seeing how this and everything is expressing this idea of the multiple expressions of a one. And that's how life is composed. So anytime I can question whether that, how can God be expressed in so many things, I just recognize that's what's happening with my body every day, every cell. And it's that multiple expression that becomes one whole unit. And this is how we are, one whole unit, expressing the divine. And let's think about that. That means that we are the power of the universe, truly in manifestation, as that oneness of life. And thank you for letting me share that.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Please welcome these two ladies. I called them at the last minute yesterday, and they showed up, and I really appreciate that. Please welcome Miss Terry Page. Hi, Terry. The one and only Miss Brenda Moore. And directly out of Santa Clarita, please welcome Brother Jerry.
So, I have a picture for you to put in your mind. It's a young man in his 20s, in the military, single father, recently divorced, getting ready to go on deployment. And in his mind, he's thinking, oh my God, what do I do? He's a faithful man, though. And exactly what Reverend Nancy said, the realization came that if he lives on faith, it will be presented to him. And so almost 70 years ago, he saw this vision. And that night, this is what went through his head. Lately I've been living on faith. What else can a poor boy do? But my world will be right when love comes over you. Lately I've been talking in my sleep. I can't imagine what I'd have to say, except my world be right. Love comes back your way. I've always been one to take each and every day. Seems like by now I'd find love who cares just for me. Then we'd go running on faith. All of our dreams would come true, and our world would be right. When love comes over me and you. I've always that we'd go running on faith. All of our dreams would come true, and our world would be right. Love comes round for me and you. When love comes round to you, that's just what I would do.
Love comes over you.
Love comes over you.
Love comes over you.
Oh, love comes over you.
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 When love comes over you. That's my dad.
Good morning.
Morning.
There are not too many announcements today, so this will be brief. One of the main ones is that the Wednesday morning Sangha class is on break for the summer. So I know that a lot of you are going to be disappointed, but come back in September. Today at 1 o'clock is the bereavement group. So if you have anything that you need some help with as far as a loss of any kind, this would be a good place to be at 1 today. And I'm told that the Hero's Journey class is still open? Is it?
Actually, it's not.
So it's not. Well, for those of you who are in the class, sorry about the rest of you. So please check your program to see some of our ongoing classes and events. Thank you.
My mistake. So, could you stand and say the Declaration of Principles with me? We believe in one universal spirit,
Manifesting through all.
natural and
incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and the immortality of the individual soul, forever expanding. We believe the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more light. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggles, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I'm free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life.
nicely done. You guys are in fine voice today. So, welcome. Nice to see everyone here this morning. Hello, Marilyn. Hello there, Marcy. Nice to see you all out there. So, All Emancipated Good is the talk title today, but I wanted to bring your attention to this being the last week in June. Our global vision for June has been freedom from discord. So we'll be exploring that here this morning. And before I get into that, I did want to give a shout out and a big thank you to Reverend Jeannie Hoffman and Jeannie Starrett for hosting the wonderful lay pastoral care luncheon yesterday, which was an opportunity for us to honor those who have been in service to our community in this most sacred way. So if you are not familiar with it, the lay pastoral care team helps support people as they're working in the time of need. So this may look like getting a ride to the doctor, or maybe if you just gotten home from surgery, might be going to the grocery store for you. So it can look like a myriad of things. So if you feel like you want to step up and serve humanity in your spiritual magnificence in this way, just contact Jeannie Starrett, and the answer is always yes. So it was an opportunity to honor those who've been in service to our community, and in ways of serving folks that when they're down, when they're perhaps most vulnerable, because it's not easy to ask for help if you're used to being and living independently. When they are sick or just not getting around, or maybe just need a hand. And so I just want to say thank you to everyone. Maybe you weren't there yesterday, so that we could thank you yesterday. And I would just like to ask everyone who's helped out in lay pastoral care, if you would just please stand for just a second, please. Don't be shy. Come on. You know who you are. Yes, good. And thank you, the 6 of you who remain seated. So, yes. So if you want to help, the answer is always yes. So, and I feel this ties in nicely with our global vision, freedom from all discord. For when we are under the weather, it can often feel like no one is there for me. And this can cause a sense of disconnect, a sense of discord within ourselves first, within our families, maybe on the job, and sometimes even our spiritual community. And so it's very important for us to understand that if we really want to engage these principles, if we really want to engage in the sweet spot of life, if we're looking to cultivate more good in our life, one of the easiest and best ways to do that is to be of service to others. There's lots of opportunities here in our spiritual community, but there's all kinds of things out in the rest of the world too. Friends of LA River, Sierra Club, Habitat for Humanity, the San Fernando Rescue Mission. There's all kinds of ways to serve. So if you've been thinking about it and just haven't got to it, this is your poke in the ribs to tell you to get off the dime and pick up the phone or get on the computer and step up. Because in serving, both are served. That's what I know. So I go there oftentimes thinking I'm going to be of service, and I leave feeling like I have been lifted by serving. Because after all, as Ernest Holmes once said, that we believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. We believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. So one of my minister colleagues kind of questioned that. Said, well, geez, wouldn't the ultimate goal of life to be happy Isn't that what we're often almost obsessed with in Western culture? And yet, as she pointed out, as she was exploring this, to be free of all discord is, in fact, to be happy. And happy at the deepest levels of our being. So this statement of Ernest Holmes is another one of our declarations of principles. So we read 6 of them, 5 or 6 of them, on Sunday, just to remind us of the basics of the teaching. And this is yet another one. To know that the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. So there's confidence in there, and so there's reminder, and then we can confidently know that it's available for everyone, especially ourselves. So oftentimes we can know this truth for others and have the yeah buts when thinking about ourselves, because after all, we know where the warts are, right? We know where we may not step up as the full and complete emanation of spirit on the earth plane. So maybe you don't have this issue. But it's one that I get reminded of a lot more regularly than I'd like to admit. So what I like about this, this idea of happiness, what I like is the word emancipation. Right? Emancipation from all discord. And so when I think of emancipation, perhaps as many of you, I think about the Emancipation Proclamation. Right? So the Emancipation Proclamation that freed African slaves, now African American slaves, but not yet recognized. Right? So Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves with this proclamation in the middle of the Civil War. And this was to go, which by the way was only for the South. Right? He didn't free the slaves in the North, only in the South. So, consciousness sometimes, even in these high-minded ideals, we got to step into things, right? But by the end of the war, of course, with the 13th Amendment, all enslaved people in the United States were made free. And this has been the backbone of many other freedoms that have been afforded us. Going, for marriage equality on down the line, that the 13th Amendment, in a very real way, has set us all free in ways profound and sometimes subtle. But there you have it. And then today, there's kind of a new usage, at least new usage to me, for to be emancipated can mean that a child has been set free of parental control. So good thing I didn't know about this when I was a teen, because I was one of those teens who was itching to get out, although I wasn't that much of a troublemaker, but I was definitely ready to get out. And but I think it's interesting that there's a whole department now that deals with this issue in the state of California, the emancipation of children from parental control. So I don't know all the ins and outs of this action, except that I do know that parental consent is still needed to be emancipated. And the kid has to show, and it's very clear, that the child has to show that it can support themselves by legal means, which I thought was interesting compared to some of the things that they can find themselves into. And that interestingly, the two of the ways that a child can be emancipated is to get married or join the armed forces, which to me sounded like a out of the frying pan and into the fire kind of deal, right? But I do know, I had friends, I wasn't one of these, but I do have friends who did both. Right? Either got married to get out of the house, right? Because, they had 7 siblings and they just had to, right? So they had to get free. only to be set into something else, or to go into the service, right? So now why someone would think you would be free to go into the military, I guess they don't know anyone who's been through boot camp, but there you go. So to me, it did sound like out of the frying pan and into the fire, but at the same time, right, you get to be your own man, you get to be your own woman in the world. And for those of us who have that streak, that independent streak in us, this is a great thing. So, and a necessary thing in these family systems that are not healthy, where the parents are not skilled or ill-equipped for whatever issues, right? So I'm not judging it. I just found it when I was digging around for emancipation. So today, what does this mean for those of us who are in this teaching? What does it mean to me, this idea of emancipation? And for me, it means today to be emancipated from old ways of thinking that old ways of thinking that up until now may have kept me in bondage or feeling held back in some way. I want to be emancipated from old thought patterns that no longer serve me. Now, when we first come into the teaching, this is a relatively easy endeavor. For when we come to see that it is our thinking that is affecting our life, affecting our reality, it is in this realization that we have our first major shift. For when we accept that it is our thinking that creates our reality, we are invariably led to the idea that wrestling with issues out there is futile unless we shift old thought patterns within ourselves. In this way, then, we move from victim consciousness, where we are being subjected to outside forces of they are doing this to me, into becoming and having an awareness of becoming the captain of our own ship, and that this ship is fired by inspiration, is propelled by inspiration, and not fear. That is filling the sails, propelling us into a life of design rather than one of default. So, we are set free. We are set free from whatever first drove us into the teaching, and we move into a shifted consciousness. We move into a way that is seeing the world differently, even if the outer condition has not changed much. But maybe it does. We come in, maybe we move through a divorce, a job loss, a health challenge, or simply wanting to infuse some energy, some verve, some vigor into our life. And then we have a sense of being set free, that we demonstrate this life that we are now wanting to live on purpose, that we are unleashing this design for living, where we are now engaging our mind in a conscious way rather than an unconscious way, to design a new way of living, to live our life on purpose. Now, the interesting thing for me is that as we are in the teaching for a while, in time we may well find that which had once had a feeling of setting us free sometimes become the manacles that now make us feel like we were being held bound in some way. So that job we just had to have, that house or neighborhood that we just had to live in, or that extra degree or certification we were certain was all we needed to be set free. And of course, like any journey that we set out on, when we get there, when we get to where we're headed, when we're at the destination, there we are. There we are. And so we come into the next class or change a job or the relationship or even lose the weight. And after that initial feeling of exultation of having achieved the goal, we may find ourselves then asking, is that all there is? Is that all there is? Right? So we're off, okay, well, this is good. It's like we're just ticking off things on the to-do list. Right? And so what we know about that is that if we are basing our contentment with the way that we live life on the to-do list, there will always be more things to do. Yes? Yeah. So, and at the same time, we do teach and believe that we can control the world of conditions through the power of thought. This is true. And at the same time, in my opinion, we do not want to fall into the trap of thinking that all we are here to do is to manipulate form in some way. To just simply manipulate form. So there is within that activity, that fleeting moment of accomplishment. And this can be powerful. But unless we have had, unless we have had a shift in our awareness that what is at work here is spirit itself, that is simply, then it just simply becomes a distraction, yet another distraction, yet another shiny bauble for us to attach to in the world of form. So that's there's kind of a futility in that, in this Buddhist way, that what we're striving to, if we really want to know a life that is free from discord, we're looking at a life that's free of attachment. And in the true Buddhist way, that most of us don't want to attach to suffering. We all get that one, right? But we also don't want to attach to pleasure. Now, why is that? Because in time we get attached to the pleasure, and if the pleasure is not there, then we suffer yet again. So it's that wheel that we can get caught up in. So for us as Westerners, looking at things from a Western perspective, but also from a religious science perspective, what I know about this is we can demonstrate effectively in these ways until finally we bump up against something that we can't manipulate or control. And we will be left feeling victimized by the very demonstration we thought was the cure to all of our troubles. So, what's the way out, right? What's the way out of the riddle? And that is to understand that what we are experiencing in the outer world is a reflection of our own thought. It's a reflection of what's going on in here. And when we really understand this not as a theory, but as a deep insight, we are at a momentous point of awakening. That we wake up, that we have an insight that we can't fix the reflection. We can't fix the mirror. So, besides, if you think about it, it's kind of silly to do that, because in reality, we are not often seeing reality accurately anyway when we look into the mirror. So here is a couple of images. So this is one that, I've struggled with as a younger man, always feeling like I looked much older than I was, or felt much older than I was. Or this is the classic one, particularly in our culture, where a perfectly fit, beautiful woman sees herself differently, right? So that whole image thing. So we can all relate to this, yeah? Yeah. So what do we see when we're looking in the mirror? Is it the truth of who we are, or is it something else? Well, we know it's always something else, because it's a mirror. All right. So what are we looking at? What we're looking at, we're looking with. So the trick then, of course, is not to comb our hair by trying to comb the mirror, right? Or to put our makeup on by, putting the makeup on the mirror. Instead, we want to work within and do the inner work. So it has been said, this is Gary Simmons, a unity minister, longtime unity minister. It's been said that life is a mirror. But we forget that the mirror can only reveal what is showing up in front of it. And yet often we try to fix a mirror when dealing with some form of discomfort. instead of examining how we are showing up. And when we're doing this, he says, we are trying to fix the mirror. We try to fix the mirror when dealing with some form of discomfort instead of examining how we are showing up. Or have we ever tried to get God to change the way the mirror works? Right? So we get in there and we try to wrestle the law into doing our will. Right? Rather practicing releasing, right? So this is why we have the release step in affirmative prayer or spiritual mind treatment. Right? To release it to the mechanical way that the law works, without getting all caught up, distracted, and hooked into the way that we think it's supposed to be. Now, there's an obvious reason why we would want to do that. If we are playing with the infinite power of the universe, right, why wouldn't we want it to use all of its powers available? Why wouldn't we want to call forward all the infinite possibilities for good rather than the 2 or 3 outcomes that I come up with? And Spirit is far more creative than I am in the way that it provides solutions, even sometimes down paths that I was certain there was no way they would work. Those are the best ones, really, for me. Right? I love those. So, trying to fix a mirror. Trying to fix how God changed the way the law works. So when our life looks and feels that it's against us, it is a mirror unto our own disconnect. So what I'm getting at here is if we are feeling victimized by the world in any way, this is actually a good thing. So rather than judge ourselves about it, we just simply need to go within and say, okay, so what's really going on here? What is it within me that is calling this outer reflection forward? Now, this doesn't mean we're not doing this from a place of beating ourselves up, right? So the one that people come to my office and say is either they've made a serious miscalculation in the world of business or their finances. What did I do to create this? Well, that one's kind of easier. But the one that I think people struggle with and really hurts my heart is when they've developed a health diagnosis. Well, what is it within me that has called this forward? Well, I don't know that that's really a very helpful or healing way to think. What I want to do when I am looking at these kinds of things is to call forth that within me that is the pattern of perfection, of well-being, of radiant good health, and so forth, and allow that pattern of perfection to reveal itself and to heal whatever it is within me, known or unknown. Right? So yeah, there's actually trillions of cells. Right? Not only that, we have within us 4 trillion cells, and most of them are not human. We're carrying bacteria and viruses, and some healthy, some not. Right? Our gut has all kinds of bacteria in it. It's quite amazing. It's like the more you know, it's like, wow. Yeah, we have this wonderful expression of many things being one thing simultaneously. The individualized expressions, all within this system expressing as one thing. So how do we, getting out of this trap of trying to fix a mirror then, is to just really go within and know that there's only one thing at work here anyway. And when these things of seeming disconnect come up, to embrace them. Because Gary goes on to say, but beyond this, the reflection of the outer world, there's something so much more beautiful and natural and perfect from the way that we see things. Because what Gary was saying that when our life looks and feels like it's against us, it is a mirror unto our own discontent, so that we never get to address the discontent if our attention is on managing situations rather than seeing the link between what we are having as our experience and how we are being with it. So this is our point of power. We can shift the way that we are with any condition that is presenting itself, even as we know that we have within the world the pattern of perfection that God is, all the intelligence, all the creativity, all the power, might, light, love that God is, to call forth a shift in the situation as we currently know it. So we know the world is becoming a crazy place. As Gary says, the rules are changing. Extremes are finding their way into what used to be our normal. And when faced with uncertainty, chaos, craziness, insanity, or just ordinary difficulty, we naturally gravitate towards what can give us control, relief, comfort, certainty, and predictability. So what we want to understand then is, while bondage is an experience, there is a reality to which bondage is not real. That the bondage is up here in our own head, and sometimes connected with, it's a heart-mind thing. And so when we go within and connect with that the perfection of the moment, then we can have a different experience where we are reflecting the majesty, the power, the creativity, the intelligence that God is. And so today, as we go about our business today, using this moment, hopefully you've been prodded into your own thought threads in this regard. Maybe we can find something that we can disentangle ourselves from a sense of disconnectedness or discord, and call that forth. Know that we can work with that today and call forth the pattern of perfection that is already within it, so that we can then create for ourselves and those around us within our own little thought mental atmosphere a world that works for all. So let's call our musicians forward. Let's just take a deep breath and just know that there is this one power, one presence, one source, one life of God that is the very essence of my being, that I am the individualized, that you are the individualized expression of the genius of the universe, right where you sit, with whatever challenge may be that you may be working with today. That we know that as you are, that I am a God center, that there is that flame of divinity that is the pattern of perfection, longing to come forth by means of each one of us. And so today, as we go about our business, we allow that flame of divinity to fire us up, to illuminate us, to allow us to be initiated into heroic ways of being that allow us to be the light into the world that we are called to be. That we allow a full and complete healing of any kind, whether in the body temple, within the state of our finances, within our job, within our relationships, that we are experiencing a deeper awareness of the one Spirit of God expressing in, through, and as all of these things. And to the extent that we know that pattern of perfection is already there, we simply allow our bloated nothingness to fall away out of the way of the divine circuits, and allow the power and presence and love and light that God is to demonstrate fully and completely as our life. And so it is.
There's a burden that only He can There's a place in the world for a dreamer, and he sees, oh, and he sees, and he sees, oh, yes, he sees. There's a song in the heart of a woman that only the truest loves can release. There's a song in the heart of a woman, set it free, oh, set it free, set it free, oh, set it free, set it free, oh, set it free, set it free, oh, set it free. There's a light in the depths of your darkness. There's a calm at the eye of every storm. There's a light in the depths of your darkness. Let it shine, oh, let it shine, 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 let it shine, oh, let it shine.
That was really beautiful. Thank you. Let's give him some more love, shall we? That's Jerry Reike, Terry Page, and Brenda Silas Moore. Yes. And led by Ken Francis, of course. Yes, thank you, Ken. I know you hate it when I do that, but you are the best. All right. All right, so as we go within to prepare our gifts for the offering, remember those of you in the hero's journey, we will be taking the offering up on Thursday, but you can use your little spirit bucks if you have one. All right, so come forward.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed.
So let's just go within for a moment, recognizing and knowing that the gifts presented here this morning are a demonstration of consciousness, demonstration of thinking and knowing that God is our source, our substance, our supply. And so from the generous heart from which these gifts have been offered here this morning, we as community accept these gifts with deep appreciation, love, and respect. As we know together, they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless not only the vision and mission of this center, but for everyone here this morning, anyone connected to it in any way. That we know this truth for our friends here in our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, all of the United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well, that it is all a demonstration emanating from the mind of God itself. And to the extent that we really know this to be so, we see it demonstrating in all ways, great and small. We feel a shift. We feel lifted. We feel a sense of grace that empowers us to experience spiritual living one day at a time. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. So please help me thank lovely Rita and Sandy Kelly, who is here for today. Use this one. Oh. Okay. So.
So we understand and Ray says one word if you want.
Okay, one word. So this is on? Yes. What's up, Boy?
We talk about mouthful eating. We take interesting things, like we tried pickle popcorn that I never had before. And also we tried like hard candy, and we tried softness in a round red smushy tomato, and it's chewy in the side and gooey in the sides. And I never had pickle popcorn before.
Me neither. Andreas has one word. What is that?
It's delicious. Pickle. I tried the popcorn. It was jicama.
Oh, thought it was jicama. Wow, you must be eating healthy in your house. Jicama.
Oh, boy.
All right, very good. All right, well, thank you, parents, for bringing your kids in. Thanks, kids, for sharing with us. Thank you all for being here today. Let's give our musicians a hand one more time. And Reverend Nancy as well, who will pray us out.
So as the practitioner, circle this room and you circle it in love. And we welcome this wonderful experience that we have shared here together. And as we place each and every person that is looking for a greater expression of life in this circle of love, know that the infinite intelligence has given us a greater awareness of the truth of who and what we are, and that this experience has been one in which we have been enriched. So we go forth to take our new awareness, our expanded awareness, and to live life more fully, more completely. Even if it is pickled popcorn. So we joyously thank the universe for what it has given us. And together we say, and so it is.
Please stand for the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God